Folks, we're looking at Azure DevOps here, and what we're going to look at today is Azure DevOps Agent Pools, folks. Now, I've got a pipeline set up here. If you have worked with Azure DevOps, if you haven't, part of setting up pipelines, folks, is utilizing a YAML file, and you're able to configure your pipelines here. In the pipelines, they'll have a keyword, folks, called pool, and you can reference your agent pool in there. In this case, mine is a self-hosted one called PNPM. Okay, that's beyond the scope of the tutorial, folks. It's a bit more in depth, but I'm not an expert, disclaimer, on Azure DevOps. I'm learning it at the moment. I'm utilizing it in the organization I work at, so I'm just sharing my experiences with you, and it'll hopefully help you guys out. Now, there is, coming back to Azure DevOps, when you click on this here, folks, you'll come to this page and then click in here. Just to get there, you'll come to here. You can click on organizational settings, and that'll take you to agent pools. Now, in agent pools, folks, there are native Azure pipelines already available to use, and you can reference those in like Azure pipelines in your actual YAML file, folks. So instead of putting PNPM, you can put Azure pipelines in there, folks, and it'll use the native ones that are already here for you. All right, but if you want something like secure, your self-hosted agents, or you want specific, applications installed on those agents, folks, that are needed to run specific code that you're deploying, then self-hosted is the way forward, and that's what we've done recently in the real world. I've created an agent pool here, folks, and it's a simple case of going to add pool here, click on self-hosted, give it a name, give it a description, and I've left the auto provision this agent pool in all projects. You can untick that if you like. Just hit save there. It's behind the photo here, and that will create an agent pool. There won't be any agents in it until you actually install them, folks, and it's just a matter of coming into your pool, click on agents. I've got a number of agents installed here, folks. If you ignore the top one, I did install that directly onto the C drive on the server, but I wanted to install sub agents, multiple, so if I had different pipelines running, they could run those agents, run those pipelines without having to be queued up, which will happen if there's too many tasks to run. So you need agents dedicated to different parts of like the YAML file, like we've discussed there, but in this case I've ran a simple little pipeline, so it's only ever utilized two at the same time, which you can see here. All right. The other thing as well, folks, if we just bounce back, for a prerequisite on this here is I created a Windows Server 2022. I sized it accordingly, and you will notice if your pipelines are running slow, the 100% CPU capacity may happen, folks. So you want to be looking at possibly your monitoring and your metrics here to see and make sure that these agent pools are running as you need them, because if you come to deploy code into the likes of production and they're not right, you could get a lot of adverse effects, folks. So test these is a good thing to do before you actually enable them for your developers or whoever's using them. All right, so bouncing back then to the agent pools, folks, I've set these up here just following the exact process that you're going to see now. If I want to put a new agent on that server, folks, apologies, one more step, create a PAT token, user settings, PAT token. You will need one for setting up the agent. So I've already one set up here. Once you set it up, you need to save that PAT token somewhere, folks, because once you navigate away out of the screen, you won't be able to see it again. All right, so it's just a matter of creating a new token and saving that somewhere. I've got it here already. Coming back, if we just come back, I'll go into the reverse here. Come back to our agents, then it'll just be a matter of new agent, and folks, it gives you the exact step-by-step here. What you do is just click on download, and it's going to download that zipped file, and you'll be able to unpack it and then start installing it on each of your agent hosts, folks, as we'll call them, sub agents, as I've sort of called them. So I have what it does give you is detailed instructions here, And if you just click on that, it'll give you the exact step-by-step to install it on a Windows, a Mac, or a Linux, like it showed you there. You just select along the top what your agent type is. In this case, it's a Windows one. Okay, so coming in there, it'll tell you all the prerequisites. So, well, operating system, Windows Server 2012 or higher. You know, it'll tell you everything that you need to do to start. And then coming all the way down, I'm just worried about coming to downloading and configuring the agent here. So it's telling me exactly what I've shown you so far there, getting to the agent pool stage. And we need to just get in there and open up Windows PowerShell, folks. All right. I'll come back here. And what we need to do then, folks, is actually just RDP into our Windows server. I've actually done that as a bit of a prerequisite. So I've got this opened up already, and I can see my 7 agents in there. And I've got Windows PowerShell opened as well. As I said, installed one on the C drive, folks, exactly as per the step-by-step instructions it showed there. But I wanted to split it down into sub-agents, similar to what I've got it set up in the organization as. So I partitioned the drive, created an F drive there, and I put each individual agent in there. The unzipped file that I put in here, folks, I just dragged and dropped it from my local, and then I unzipped it here. This is the one that you want to use for each of your agents. What you will see after you drop it in there, folks, is a carbon copy of it. But if you copy this one and then put it into another agent folder and you come to then set up the instructions, it'll give you a bit of an error and say this has already been configured. So utilize the parent one, the initial one for each sub-agent, folks. So if I just click on that and I click copy, come back to my F drive and create a new folder, folks. And I'm just going to carry on the pattern here. Agent, I'll call this 108. And just come in there and just paste that bad boy in. Probably take about 20 to 30 seconds. It's quite a big folder. And then we just follow on to the next step of the instructions. What you will see there, if I come back to it, is a starter instruction there, folks. It's creating the agent file. It's pretty much what I've shown you there inside the C drive. What happens if I click there, it's created that agent folder, and then we've continued on the step-by-step instructions from there. If I just drop this down again, but I'm just going to skip that step altogether because I've already downloaded the folder, extracted the contents, and I've dropped it into, in this case, just ignore that, I've created the F drive, and I'm going to navigate to the extracted folder and run this command, folks. So if you just copy that command and come back to here into my F drive, and I need to get to this folder here inside the command line. So on the command line, I'm in the C drive here. If I just go to the F drive, folks, and I just go ls there, I can see all the agents. I want to get into agent 8, agent 08, and inside agent 08 I should see that folder. I can see it there. Change directory into that, and I'm good to now put that command in, folks. If I just click there, it'll give me everything I need now, step by step here, obviously complementing it with the steps here, and it's pretty straightforward, folks. If you follow these steps here, installing the agent from the server URL, as you'll see here in a second, I've already got it. It's just your organization name on the end of this URL here. Okay, and just follow these steps down. Okay, that's exactly what we're going to do now. So if we open this up, run this command, you might get a bit of a lag sometimes, folks. So if you just run F5, it can just refresh things, so it can. Here we go. So it's unpacking everything in the background, folks. We can see now it's asking us for the server URL. I've already got this extracted and created off to the side. I'm just going to paste that in there, hit enter. It's now asking us for authentication type, PAT token. We downloaded it at the start. Okay, so hit enter, and we want that PAT token. Like I said, keep a copy of it, folks. So I'm just going to do Control V, and it goes. You can see it's connecting to the server, register agent, enter agent pool name. So if we come back and we go to agent pool name, it's PM. Okay. That's all we want to put in there to get to the next bit. PNPM, hit enter, enter agent name. We can see, folks, from the name convention here, we want to keep it similar. So if DevOps agent underscore, and we'll call this one agent 808. Okay, come back here. DevOps agent underscore capital A agent 08. Enter. Scanning for tool capabilities. It's unpacking the unzipped folder contents. Enter work folder. Just press enter for underscore work. It's a default. There might sometimes be a little bit of a lag there. Again, just hit F5. Just try enter again. There we go. Enter run agent as service. Yes, we want to do that. That's recommended by Microsoft. So we hit yes. Enter enable service SID type unrestricted. We want to do yes. Again, enter user account. It's already pre-populated there. Press enter. Granting service file to network service. And whether to prevent service starting immediately after configuration, we don't. So we just press enter because it's no for a default. And that is the agent setup, folks. If we quickly come back, drop that down, you can see agent 08 in there. It's come online there now. That's how straightforward this step is, folks, to set up that agent. Like I say, if we come back to the YAML pipeline, folks, if we have multiple pipelines running, multiple references to this agent pool, folks, there was too much of a demand on one, then it'll automatically start running the other agents, folks, inside the agent pool, which is the way forward. Because if you don't have enough, it'll start queuing your jobs. The pipelines will run slower. But again, it's testing for your use case, folks. You need to configure things as you need. What the next step would be now is possibly installing Python, installing Azure CLI, things like that on the actual agent host itself on the Windows Server 2022, so that these agents will have the tools that they need to run. Okay, and you'll probably face things when you run your Azure DevOps pipelines, folks, you know, errors that you'll come across. And I've already ran this one, folks, utilizing my agents. You can see multiple errors, so you just iron them out as needs be. You would want to track this here in a user story in your Jira sprint, and just put a list of what you've actually installed on the actual agent at a point in time. Create possibly a little Confluence page, or if you're controlling things from your Azure DevOps, a little wiki here so people can reference it and get a rough guide of what's actually installed in there. Again, at a point in time, put versions in as well. And just by all means, encourage your developers to actually install things as they need to as well, folks. It's a little bit of trial and error until you get something that's running. What I would say is definitely utilize a testing environment, or what I've found recently is if you do, create errors inside your host by downloading things that don't work, you possibly might want to put a snapshot, folks, so you can actually revert to a previous point in time. Okay, so backup is worth doing. Okay, as something that's happened in the real world there, folks. Yeah. So that's setting up your agent pools and your agents, folks. It's a high level. It's definitely a business as usual task that you might be asked to do, and you could create a little step-by-step guide, put it in a Confluence page or in a wiki, and it's another little feather to your cap. But as always, I hope this has helped you out, and ask any questions you'd like to. I'll leave this one with you, and I wish you all the best. Take care and good luck.